Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. Today marks the end of my grind week, and in a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on the movie Taboo, The Unthinkable Act, which is an independent movie and the first of the trilogy which you can catch on the Tubi streaming app. Now when I think about something as being taboo, I often think about things like asking a woman her weight, necrophilia, and even committing adultery. But this particular movie takes the concept of taboo and completely runs with it. So just like in my last movie review, for this movie, I will be solely focusing on the story, and I'll decide whether the movie is crazy, intriguing, or just plain dumb. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. So the movie kicks off with our main character Angie at the Warren Psychiatric Hospital. We initially have absolutely no clue why she's there, but all we know is that she's violent and she needs to see Dr. Anderson. After meeting up with Dr. Anderson, we get a flashback to help explain what series of events caused Angie to get locked up. In this flashback, we see Angie laid up in the bed with Andre. They are exchanging DNA in more ways than one, with no shame about it. But there are two issues with this picture. One, Andre is a married man. He's married to his wife Sarah, and she's missing from this picture because she works the night shift. And two, Angie and Andre are biological brother and sister. Now let's look at the situation from another perspective. Not only is it bad enough for Andre to be cheating on Angie in their house and in their bed, but he's cheating with his sister. So right off the bat, we have a pretty crazy movie. And I gotta give credit to the directors and writers for the movie for having the guts to tell this kind of story. But a few minutes after we see Angie and Andre together, Sarah enters the house, and it's established that Sarah is pretty slow when it comes to realizing that Angie and Andre are doing something inappropriate. It's also established that Angie's unemployed, homeless, and is in no hurry to get a job. From here on out, there are two developments to the story that add richness to the movie's narrative. First, we're introduced to Angie's ex-boyfriend Eric, and we learn that he broke up with Angie because he caught Andre giving Angie that good old pickle tickle. And instead of Eric busting in the room like the Kool-Aid man, Eric just watched another man smash his girlfriend, and Eric never bothered to confront either of them about it. In my opinion, this series of events was unrealistic, and I gotta question Eric's manhood because of it. But the second development to the story was that how we as the audience learned that Angie and Andre's father admitted to having an inappropriate relationship with Angie. This happens as Angie's father is laying on the sofa and he's talking to Angie's mother while laying on his deathbed. And I think that this is significant because many people who were victims of childhood abuse can attest to the fallout and trauma that the abuse has caused them. For Angie, her childhood trauma caused her to victimize Andre as a child and groom him to believe that what they were doing was right. And Angie was able to accomplish this because she viewed the abuse that she suffered at the hands of her father as a form of love and affection. The childhood trauma also caused Angie to have a sex addiction, and if she wasn't able to get sexual gratification from other men, she engaged in self-pleasure on a frequent basis. So in my opinion, most of the things that I'm seeing in the movie are somewhat realistic. However, there were a few things with this movie that I found hard to believe. One, when Angie's mother found out what the father did to Angie, she was entirely too calm about the matter. As stated before, the father was on his deathbed when he shared this information, and the fact that he didn't have an accident after telling the mother about it was disappointing. There was also a scene where Andre was playing basketball with his friend, and Angie comes by to watch them play. As Angie walks up to Andre, the friend sees him kissing on the lips, and then he sees Andre with his hand around Angie's waist. Again, this is a little unrealistic, and the friend was entirely too calm about what he had witnessed. You then have a scene where Angie is rubbing a clean one out while she watches Andre and Sarah sleeping. Once Angie gets her due, she takes a sample of her love slopper and wipes it on Andre's lips. This is complete madness at this point. But the drama for this movie reaches its climax when, by sheer luck, Eric runs into Sarah and he tells her about the time where he watched Andre blowing Angie's back out, and he did absolutely nothing about it. This catches Sarah off guard, and Sarah ultimately confronts Andre with a gun while Angie is nearby. The three of them struggle over the gun, and Sarah accidentally shoots and kills Andre. So if the movie stopped right here, and it gave us as the audience a proper ending, then I would have had high praise for this movie. But instead, the movie goes a step further into WTF territory. We as the viewing audience later learn that Dr. Anderson is a real doctor, but she had a mental breakdown and escaped a psychiatric hospital with the help of the director of this hospital. And the director is under investigation because he has been authorizing the mass release of patients from the hospital, with the help of Dr. Anderson. And this is being done in order to meet budget cuts. In my opinion, this twist in the movie kinda undercuts all the progress that was made by telling Angie's cautionary tale. And it feels like two stories are competing with one another in one movie. But the movie ends with Angie getting released despite being mentally unstable, as well as Sarah doing a prison bid, and no resolution to the investigation into Dr. Anderson, as well as the director of the hospital. So all in all, if I had to recommend whether this movie was crazy, intriguing, or just plain dumb, I was very close to considering this movie to be dumb, but I have to roll with intriguing. I think that despite the ending of the movie, the subject matter of Taboo and Unthinkable Act is indeed taboo, and it's rarely explored to this magnitude in mainstream movies and TV shows. I think that this movie can definitely be a teaching tool to others regarding the impact of childhood trauma and how it may translate into adulthood. I also think that this movie can motivate victims of childhood trauma to seek help if they already haven't, and I would recommend that you all just check it out at least once. But this marks the end of my review. If you have any comments about the review or the movie, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.